So I performed the second task under the data science internship offered by Overseas Infobyte. So this task is unemployment in India. So at first we see the commands which I have already executed, and now I will be explaining one by one each and every command, what it means, what it functions to be. So let's start. Okay, so import pandas as PD, import numpy as NP, import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, import cbon as SNS. So this command is as a whole represents importing certain libraries which are used to perform the further programs which I will be explaining. So let's explain these libraries a bit. There is a Pandas library is a manipulation library, which is actually used to manipulate and analyze libraries flexibly. Next comes NumPy. It's actually a library for programming language, supporting multidimensional arrays and also helps us to operate mathematical operation on these arrays. Matplotlib.pyplot is a plotting library, which is actually very useful for 2D graphics in Python programming language, and Cbon is a Python data visualization library based on Matplotlib. So, what is its function? It provides a high level interface for drawing attractive and informative statistical graphics. So, now I go to the second command, which is actually written as tf is equals to pd dot read underscore csv, and within the first bracket we are writing the name of the file. So this through this command, it's quite understandable that we are trying to read a CSV data file which is named as unemployment in India and downloaded from Kaggle. And I have stored this in the D drive in my laptop, and I'm trying to read it using pandas and python. So this code will help me load the data from the CSV file into the pandas data frame. So now we go to the next command, that is the third command, which is print within first bracket df.head and then first bracket closed first brackets. So what does this mean? So df.head function in Panda returns the first five rows of the data frame object. Now, if we want to return more or less than 5 rows, we can specify how many rows we want to. So, if we want less, then we can write print df.head within the closed brackets, we can write 4. And if we want more than 5, say 10, then we can write print df.head, and within those closed brackets, we can write 10. So, it will return the first 10 rows of the data frame. So as we have not mentioned anything, so or specified anything actually, the number of rows, so it will be returning the first 5 rows as the usual photo. Next, we go to the next code, which is actually within first bracket tf dot is null, then closed first brackets dot sum closed first brackets, then the original brackets closed. What does this do? This command or this function in pandas is used to check and manage null values in a data frame. Here is what it does. So let us break it in parts. Df.isNull is actually the part of the function which returns a data frame where each cell is either true or false depending on the cell's null status. So, like if the cell value is null, that it will return true. Null means it will that it doesn't contain any value, and if it is not null, that it contains certain values 1, 2, 3, anything, then it will return false. And dot sum close first brackets, it's actually the part of the function. It is the number of cells which actually containing the null values. Since true is equivalent to 1 in Python, summing to all the true values will give us the total number of null cells, that the number of cells which actually contain no values. So this command will return a Panda series with an index representing columns of your data frame and values representing the column of null values found in each column. And as we see here, in each of the columns is representing that there are 28 null values, and the data type is integer 64. So, in the whole data set, there are 28 such columns or such cells where there is no value, it's null. Next command, we go to df dot columns, and within the third brackets, regions, comma date, comma frequency, comma estimated unemployment rate, comma estimated employed, comma estimated labor participation rate, comma area and whole within the square brackets and also within double quotes. What does this mean? This code will rename the columns of the data frame df to the names provided in the list. So, in if in any case we want to rename any of the columns in the data set, then we can use this command. I haven't renamed anything. I've put whatever names that was given, but if I had wanted, I could have renamed. The names as given are okay, so I have not renamed it. But this can be used to rename the columns, and as well as the order of the names in this list corresponds to the order of the columns in the data frame. The uh, order in which we are putting the columns, we can also reorder actually. So in the order in which we are writing the name of the columns is actually corresponding to the order of the columns in the data frame. So if we write as I have written here, regions first and then date. So in that case, region will be our first column, the date will be a second column, frequency will be a third column. So the order in which we will be writing the name of the columns, we will get the columns in that same order in the data frame. And last but not the least, the last comment for this is plot plt.figure, figure size is equals to 12.10, 12 comma 10, plt dot title Indian unemployment, sns dot his plot, x is equals to estimated labor participation rate within quotes, hue is equals to within quotes area, data is equals to data frame, and plt dot show. So what is this? So the code is written is using the Seaborn library. So we can see this SNS. So SNS is a Seaborn library. The Seaborn library to create the his plot. His plot is what is a histogram or what? Histogram of the estimated labor participation rate column in our data frame with different areas represented by different colors. So if we see the diagram, we see the different areas is being it's being marked with different colors. And this code will create a histogram with x-axis. So I show the diagram here. It will be better to understand then. So here in the x-axis, we are putting or we are marking it as estimated labor participation rate, and the y-axis as a count. So the hue is this area. Hue is area, which is actually means that the different areas will be represented by different colors. So the rural area will be represented by the blue color, and the urban area will be represented by the yellow color or orange maybe. So the diagram or the figure is marked as Indian unemployment. So this bar graph, which is titled as Indian unemployment, represents the estimated labor participation rate in both rural and the urban areas, and the orange bars, which represents actually the urban areas, and the blue bars represent the rural areas. So the bar which is orange and is approximately 50. This one, which is approximately 50 represents the urban areas with an estimated labor participation of a bit more than 40. So this one, if we go by that, uh, yes, this is this bar. So this is approximately around 50, a bit more than 50, and if we correspond it to the estimated labor participation, it's a bit more than 40 on the x-axis. And the bar which is blue and is approximately 20 on the y-axis represents the rural areas with an estimated labor participation of around 50. That is this one. This is around 20, and the labor participation rate is around 50, approximately 50, and it represents the rural areas. So this graph appears to show that the unemployment is higher in the urban areas and in the rural areas, because we can see that the urban areas bars are reaching high lengths than the rural areas. That means rural areas are having lower unemployment rate than that in the urban areas. That means in the urban areas employment is quite lower than the rural areas. So this is what my task has to do. So thank you.